This is a tutorial for My Eyes by the Lumineers. I'm making it because I could not find one on YouTube that was accurate to the record, making it sound just like the record. So that's the intent of this tutorial, is to make it sound just like the record. So a note about that. On the record, it's tuned 1/2 step down. So you can't make it sound like this unless you tune 1/2 step down. So I'm just going to show real quick what that sounds like so you can see that it's what you're interested in playing. And then for the sake of everybody else who doesn't want to retune their guitar, I'm going to do the tutorial with the capo on the 1st fret so that it will sound on the video, on this video right here, it's going to sound like if you play it in standard tuning. But to be accurate to the record, you have to be tuned 1/2 step down. So here's what it's going to sound like when you tune 1/2 step down and play as I'm going to show you. So again, that's all played with tuned 1/2 step down. And now for the tutorial, I'm going to do it with a capo on the 1st fret so that anybody who's in standard tuning can follow along and learn how to play it. And you tune at your leisure, you can tune it down. So just going into the, just a note on timing, it's 1 bar is 12 beats, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we're going to be going in that kind of scheme. The verse is going to be a sequence of 4 chords repeated. So the 4 chords are C, A minor, F, and C once again to end. So it's a 4 chord sequence. So you're going to end up, when you're playing it through, you're going to be doing C for 2 bars at times because it begins and ends on the C. Like there, I just did it twice at the end. Okay, so it's just going to do a C chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So on the 11th beat, you're going to drop your pinky onto the 3rd fret of the B string there. 10, 11, 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then to the A minor, same thing, same pinky, same fret, 11th beat once again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then to the F, same thing again, with the pinky as well on the 11th beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. just a note, I don't recommend using this F bar chord shape because that F, high F, 6th string doesn't really come in. It kind of interrupts, it kind of doesn't, it overshadows the melody, so I just do this shape over here with that 6th string muted. Thumb on the bass note. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then once again to the C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that last bar in the 4-bar sequence, that last chord, we're not going to do that little embellishment. Although you could if you wanted to, obviously there's no harm done. And typically all throughout the song you want to accentuate the thirds. Like if you split one bar of 12 into 4 groups of 3 beats, you want to accentuate the first beat in every one of those groups. So we're typically going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And adding a lot of muting or thumping will add to the song as well. So you're gonna do those 4 bars one time through, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the second time you go through, it's gonna change as we lead into the chorus. So the first one's gonna be the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And now when you get to the F, it's gonna be different. So now we're gonna bring 6th string into the chord. We definitely want to hit that. It's important to the melody. So, and that's not going to go for a full bar. It's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So half a bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we're going to switch to a D for the second half of the bar. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then back to an F for a full bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that 4-bar sequence is going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So again, those last 2 bars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And as on the original song, as you approach the end of that bar, it kind of builds in intensity. So come up here. So that is going to be 7th fret, ring finger of the 3rd string. And you're going to use your index finger to bar 5th fret. Sorry, I'm at the, because I'm playing on the capo, I have to shift everything up. So I'm talking about relative to the capo. It's going to be 7th fret. So I'm on fret 8, but that's just because I'm using a capo. So fret 8, because I'm using a capo, so you're going 7th fret up, ring finger, and then your index finger bars the 5th fret up on both of these 4th and 5th strings. So you're gonna pluck just the 3rd string for one beat, and then the other 2 strings for beats 2 and 3. So it's going to sound like this. And then for the rest of that bar, so that's 1, 2, 3, and then for 4 to 12, you're doing the same pattern, but just having moved your ring finger off and putting your middle finger down 1 fret lower. So you're going to be at the 6th fret. So that's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then you're going to go to the F for 3 beats. 1, 2, 3, and then C for the rest of the bar. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. typically they do the F, like you can do that pretty heavy-handedly, like, and then for the C, you're gonna do the offbeats. You're gonna accentuate the offbeats. So you're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then you're gonna come back, do that again. So then the third time we do this, it's going to be different. We're going to start off the same, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to slide with our pinky from the 8th fret to the 9th fret. So whereas before we went on the 6th fret for the rest of the bar, go to the 9th fret for the rest of the bar. And then back to the second bar is going to be the same, F, 1, 2, 3, C, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then the last time through, there's going to be the ladder downwards. So it's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So how to do that is we're starting off the exact same way. 1, 2, 3, and continuing the same as the first 2 times through the chorus. 4, 5, 6, and then we take our middle finger off, so now we're using the bar chord on with the index finger. So that's 5th fret bass note now, so yeah. We're going to do the same thing, but we're just moving our index finger back, so the bass note is going down by 1 semitone again, and you're going to have to use a different finger. You could use a different finger, depending on whichever you prefer, to bar those two. The other 2 strings are still at the 5th fret, but now our bass note's at the 4th fret. So. Go to the F chord for a full bar. So it's not going to be F for 3 beats and then C. It's going to be F for a full bar. So that's the whole chorus can be thought of as 4 parts repeating, and those parts are each 2 bars, and they're very similar in their structure. So overall the chorus sounds like this. So you're just going to let the F ring out for that full bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then you're going to go into the 4-bar chord sequence we started the song with. So you'll recognize that as, 1. It's all or nothing. So again, back into that sequence we started with, C, C, A minor, F, C. And coming into the second time through the verse, there's a build-up. So what I would suggest, is the first time through the verse at the beginning of the song, don't do thumping, or you could do muting to keep it low, and you could not do thumping. And then the second time you go through, you could let it ring out and add more thumping. transformation of the energy into the second verse. So it's going to be the exact same as the first verse, so that means one time through the 4 bars, just no lyrics, just letting it go. And then where the lyrics come in, and then the second time through with lyrics, the second stanza is going to go to this, we're going to include the D. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then back to the chorus, second time through the chorus, exact same all the way. Now, following the second chorus, we go into the bridge where there's a bit of a melody being played on the piano. So I'll show you how you can play that as well. So it's going to sound like this. You're going to start off with a big C strum. And on beat, let me see, on beat 4, so 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. So on beat 4, you're going to hit pinky, 3rd fret of the highest string, finished string. And then on beat 7, you're going to hit that open, that same string, open. So it's going to sound like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then you're still doing that on beats 10, 11, 12. And then to A minor. So on beat 4, and 7, instead of, you're doing the 1st fret, which is already covered by your A minor, on the 2nd string, sorry, 5th string. So the 4th fret, the 4th beat is there, and then the 7th beat. So that sounds like. And then we go to the F. So that's going to sound like. So this time there's not going to be any of this. That 10, 11, 12, which we've typically been doing, it doesn't happen on the F. You're just going to go, you're going to hit the 4th string, bass note, and then 5th string, and 6th string. So just to note, the 4th and the 5th, those were played where your hand is for the F chord, but the 6th string is open. So that's open. So when I'm doing this position with my hand, I really gotta curl the fingers around to hit that open note on the 6th string. So. And again, that's beats 4, 7, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then into the C chord, which rounds off the 4-bar sequence. C, A minor, F, C. Now we're back into the C. You're going to do a big strum and hit that 3rd fret, 6th string with your pinky. And then you're going to hit the open 6ths at the end of that. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's on the open strings on the 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then you can add that modulation on the 10, 11, 12. So the first 4 bars of the bridge sounds like this. Sorry. repeat the first 3 bars. So, camera fell.
Edit. I'll check if it's in the right place. Hold on.
Alright, good?
Yeah, that's fine.
So, for the second time that we go through the 4-chord sequence in the bridge, the first 2 are going to be the same. And now when we reach the F, the 3rd bar, where it's going to sound like this. We're going to give it a big strum and accentuate the open 6th. So we want to accentuate this. And then halfway through the bar, so on beat 7, we're going to drop our pinky down to the 3rd fret and accentuate that. So it's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then for the 4th bar, it's not going to C. We're staying on F. And this is the build-up we're going to be seeing. It's going to sound like this. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that little ladder is has the backdrop of the F chord under it. So you're going to hit the F, just the bottom 4 strings. 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to, in your strum, you're going to take your index finger off the B string. So you're going to have that open. And you're going to include that in the strum, and so my 6th string is muted. So I'm going from the first 4 strings to the first 5 strings, and then you're going to drop your index finger back to that 1st fret and do the same strumming. So the first 5 strings, still muting the 6th, and then finally curling my hand outwards just a bit to let that 6th ring out. So that sounds like this. Sorry. Wait. And then we go into the final, we return, that's the end of the bridge. So I'll just play through the bridge once. So it's 4 chords. We go through a 4-bar pattern twice. So C, A minor, F, C, C, A minor, F, F, and then we return to the chorus. There is a difference here. These first 2 times through are the same. And now on the 3rd time through, instead of going to the 9th fret and creating that dissonance, instead of doing that, the 3rd time through, we're gonna hit this open A string and the 8th fret that the 7th fret that we're hitting over here with our ring finger, and then those other 2 strings that we're barring with the index finger, and you could even include the 6th string. It doesn't really matter. So you're gonna hit all of that, and you could let that ring out for 2 beats. So that's 1, 2, 3. So it's going 1, 2, 3. And you're going to transition from there to this bar chord. So you're just moving your index finger upwards. You're just moving your index finger upwards so that it covers the two thickest strings as well. And you're dropping your pinky onto the 7th fret of the 4th string, just under your ring finger. So we're going from open A, 7th on the D string, and then 5th fret on the 4th and 5th strings, to 5th fret, 5th fret, 7th, 7th, and 5th. And that continues for the rest of the bar. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then, as per usual, F for 3 beats. 1, 2, 3, C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then the chorus ends as usual. And the song ends on just this F, so it's not resolved per se. It feels resolved on a C, but it ends open on the F for Patience to come in the next song. So that pretty much rounds out the whole song. Just something to note again, I'll point out, is that you don't want to really be, lots of the time, you don't want to be hitting the highest string for lots of the song, like when you're hitting the C chords. Like when you're hitting the C chords, I'm muting the 6th on the F, many of the F chords, muting the 6th. It comes through on the A minor, it doesn't really matter. And those times when you go from F to D, you really want to hit the 6th, because that's where the melody is at. And like I mentioned earlier about the energy and just thumping and muting, you want to bring in all of that to really make it come alive. So I'll just play a little bit without the capo, so again you can see that it sounds like the record, and this is just going to be the exact same shapes but one semitone down.